Good afternoon, everyone. It is 5:03. We'd like to call the Capital Outlay Committee meeting to order. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the following conference line: 1-929-205-6099. The Zoom meeting ID, if you're on Zoom, is 880-4250-3856. And the password is capital, all in uppercase letters. Before we start the meeting, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for a member who passed away recently, John O'Brien, a very dedicated member of the town, volunteered on, he was also a school superintendent, but also volunteered for many years, especially on this committee. So if we could just have one moment of silence for him, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. The first order of business is call me to order. Is there anyone in the audience that it's audio recording?
Yes, I am.
And just identify yourself, please.
I'm Owen Jerry Sullivan from the Bourne Enterprise.
Okay, thank you. And we have with us Tom Joyce, Carol Lynch, and Wayne Sampson as members tonight. So we do have a quorum. So tonight we're going to discuss a number of items and vote for recommendations on a fiscal year 26 requests at the special town meeting. Do you want to take anybody out of order for? No. Okay. So the first one we'll do is ISWIM.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
For the record, Asa Mintz, ISWIM Operations Manager. We've got two items this year. One is our office and maintenance garage, which we requested last December. I think we were in front of Capital Outlay. Ultimately, we withdrew that capital item for last year's annual town meeting or May town meeting, just to further develop the project a little bit. So in the last 6 or 8 months, we've come pretty far. We've got design development done. We've got an estimate done by our architect, and we're in the process of getting an estimate, an independent estimate, which we should have in a couple weeks. The request at this time is $23.9 million. That for the office and garage, will be requested as borrowing. The full estimate from our architect was 25.8, and we've actually already requested 1.9. Architectural and engineering services; those came out of retained earnings. So it's the difference there, which leaves us with 23.9 at this point. So if you have any questions on that, I would be happy to answer them.
I'm fine. I'm there, yeah.
Yep. Carol, any questions?
No.
And what's your current timetable for the project?
We're working that out. So the next one we're going to request is for our transfer station that's up and coming. So these projects are going to run side by side, and we're looking at efficiencies that can be gained by bidding them together. But they will both, the office and maintenance garage and the transfer station, we're shooting for next year to start both of them. So,
Okay, so how many years do you have left in the current operation?
in the landfill,
Yeah.
the landfill has between 15 and 20 years worth of life left.
Well, that's including the new area, correct?
That's phases 7, 8, and 9. That's our vertical expansion, and then 2 phases of horizontal expansion, which encompass the area of our transfer station, the offices, and the residential area.
When you say your transfer station, that's really where the commercial building is?
Yes, exactly. Up high, high on the hill.
Correct.
Yep.
And that's going to be moved also?
Yes. Yep.
all right? And in the space where everybody is going now, for either to drop rubbish or leaves or trees or whatever, that's gonna be used while you're conducting the building?
So that'll be active for a number of years still. That's the last phase of the landfill, that area.
Okay.
So we will develop the buildings on the 12-acre parcel to the south, the one that we're developing right now, the
Correct.
cleared parcel. We'll develop the buildings on it first, and then we will start to develop the residential area after those buildings are done. So, and then, 5 years, maybe 3 to 5 years, I would say,
So 3 to 5 before you finish the area that,
before we move the residential area.
really? Okay. So was this whole project on your 3 to 5 year capital plan, or has it been moved up?
We put it on some time ago. I don't know how many years ago we put it on there, but once it started becoming real and we started to realize our vertical and our horizontal expansion were coming to fruition. So that was permitted in '22. So around that time frame, that's when it started sort of landing on our 5-year plan. Obviously, things have gotten a little more expensive since then. So
So it's pretty much on schedule on your 5-year plan?
Yeah. I mean, we're on schedule to make it work with our current fill plan. Right. So we don't have a whole lot of time left. We've kind of extended the timeframes a little bit on it.
Right.
But if as long as we're building this coming year, we're in good shape. So we've got a lot of material to move that's underneath,
Okay.
our offices and underneath our transfer station. So there's almost 500,000 yards of sand that needs to be moved below that. So there's going to be some time required to do the site prep for the landfill.
So these two numbers that you had given us, the 23.9 and 1.9, that's 25.8. Did this 1.9 kind of come off your original estimate of 25 million, and that's how it got down to
Yes,
23.9?
exactly right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So the second one, as we led into, is the proposed transfer station architectural and engineering services. So in 2024, and just to give you a little idea, the transfer station is going to be built, the proposed transfer station is going to be built adjacent to the office and maintenance garage. And its purpose is to handle construction and demolition debris that our current transfer station up on the hill that we just talked about manages. We have a small single stream transfer station down on the lower level. And then ultimately, it's sort of the in perpetuity option here, or the in perpetuity resolution to once the landfill closes, right? So we need to move it now because of Phase 7. We need to mine out for Phase 7. So that transfer station is going to be there forevermore and will be what we will use, or what the town will use, once the landfill closes. So in 2024, we did a feasibility study, generated some estimates on that. We've asked Weston and Sampson, who did that feasibility study, to go back and look at, give us a breakdown of the architectural engineering OPM soft costs. We've provided that to you, and we are requesting everything right now up to bidding. All right, so that would get us going in design, get us an OPM, which we're working on right now, which is contingent upon this approval. We're going to have an OPM that oversees both the office and maintenance garage and the transfer station. But it would allow us to move into designer selection right after special town meeting. So we can have design and bidding all lined up with, ultimately, if it all goes as planned, requesting construction funding in May. So this request is, you'll see the breakdown on that memo from Weston and Sampson. There's a total of $1.134 million for architectural engineering OPM services up to bidding. And
Up
this,
to bidding.
Up to bidding.
And do you have any estimate now what that building will cost?
It's right around 15 million, between 14 and 15
15
million.
million.
Yep.
Is that replicating what you have now, or the new ready for long-term?
It is a bigger building. So the current building right now the current two buildings are about 20,000 square feet. We're going to go up to about 28,000 square feet. One of the buildings that we use now was originally designed to be a garage, I believe, and we've used it for everything but that. So you're going to take two 10,000 square foot buildings and then combine them. And then we also have to add in the MSW part of it as well, right? Because right now all the MSW goes into the landfill. When the landfill closes, we're going to be handling MSW, we're going to be handling single stream, and we're going to be handling C&D in that new transfer station.
So for the public, what is MSW and C&D?
Okay. Construction, demolition, debris.
Okay,
Somebody knocks down a house,
Yeah.
that kind of waste. MSW is municipal solid waste, just
Okay.
household waste.
right.
Yeah.
So when we look 15 years down the road and you have to shut down, so I'm assuming that for the next 15 years, operation is going to look similar to what it does now, just in a different location.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And at the end of the 15, 20 years, are you going to use that same setup and location to then transfer everything out?
Yes, that's exactly it. And that's why we're bumping the size of the building up now,
Okay.
right, to handle that additional waste.
So the size of the building, is that all for, like you say, construction waste? Or can residents that are doing their own job and they've got a big truckload of stuff, can they bring stuff into that building at the same time so they don't have to?
Yep, we're basically just replicating what we have now, and just the way we are. And to answer your question, yes, anybody can come off the street, weigh in, dump their construction and demolition debris, weigh out, and use the facility. It's not for any specific, commercial haulers. It's for anybody, any commercial users that want to come in.
Right. Well, I'm talking about non-commercial users, for the residents.
And the residents use it as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes, we'll send people down to the residential area if they just have like a little bit of stuff in their
Right.
car, it's just easier to go to the residential area than get tied up with all the, the trucks up there, but.
Right.
But generally speaking, yes. Yep.
Any
I'm
questions?
fine, no.
Carol?
My cat kind of moved everything here. I'm trying to get back. Essentially, do you have enough room on the land that you have right now, or are you looking down the road for more land?
We're condensing everything on 25 acres into 12, and it is tight, but we have enough room to make room for the landfill and to provide the services that the transfer station needs to provide to the town beyond the landfill. So we do have a little bit more land that we need for offset land for the Cape Cod Commission, but we've got quite some time to sort that out. Then that's a mitigation thing. That's not really not so much an operational thing.
Okay.
If I could just follow up on a prior newspaper article, because you mentioned the Cape Cod Commission, that made me think of something. Dan, I think that you were saying that they were requesting you to do certain things that we just didn't have, the town didn't have the capability of doing. Has that been straightened out?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but we've pretty
Okay.
much tackled everything that they had on their last DRI.
Okay.
Asa had mentioned we needed a little bit more land for open space.
This had something to do with an analysis of something. I'll try to
I
find it.
know, I think what you might be referring to is they had requested that we change some things operationally, enclosure in particular. They wanted some different seating up on the landfill to facilitate the pollinators and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're doing our best to make sure we can do that.
Right.
We have to be careful when we do that though, because then we start making habitat and we get ourselves in trouble. But there's some experience there, so that's we're working on it. Phil's working on getting the additional different seating that they're looking for. So I think we're pretty confident we can do all of that.
Good. Thank you. What's that?
I think MJ is looking for.
I'm sorry. I see a hand up. MJ?
Hey, thanks, Wayne. So I understand the need for the projects. I am interested in the projections of how ISWIM will be able to pay for them. And that is income and expenses and revenue over the years to pay for the expenses. That's my question.
So with this request, you should have a 4-year look ahead at this point. So we've got, it's on the big, it should be a larger format, like 11 by 17. Right now, we've got about 20 million in unrestricted retained earnings. And that 4-year look ahead, and the reason, let me just stop right there. The 4-year look ahead is because that's what we have in permitted airspace right now. We've got airspace that is, you know, partially permitted, but we have to finish the permitting, and you can only do that until you are ready to build. So the 4-year look ahead starts at about 20 million. We've got about 20 million in unrestricted retained earnings, and in the next 4 years, even after the debt starts to, we incur the debt payments for the building, with the ash contract that we're working on right now, our retained earnings actually starts to rise over the next 4 years, up to, you know, 21, little over 21 million. So beyond that, there's some unknown, without a doubt. It's, you know, we're in the waste business, but we can tell you that having, you know, 4 to 5 million cubic yards of airspace capacity, or airspace and capacity, is always going to carry a premium. You know, we could continue on just the way we are right now with our waste contracts with CMAS, which will be beneficial. You know, we've kind of gotten into a groove in the last 10 years with them. But if not, we'll go out and we'll get MSW and we'll fill that airspace, you know, one way or another. But MJ, I don't know if you've seen this 4-year outlook. Have you seen that?
I have not, up through the chair, I have not, but I'm interested in the 20-year outlook. If this is a 20-year borrowing, I'm interested in the 20-year outlook. I want to understand how all the projects are going to be paid for over the lifetime of the projects and what the projections are. That I need to know what the projections are. That's all.
Dan?
If I could.
Sure.
He won't say it, but I will. I think, MJ, when you get his 20-year forecast, you're gonna be very surprised. It's very detailed, and he's done a fantastic job, to the best of our ability. We don't have a crystal ball, but he's done a fantastic job of forecasting where we're gonna be. And I think you'll be impressed when you see it, but you have to, as he mentioned earlier, you have to remember, we can only permit out to we can only sell what we have permitted. And you know, you've known that anyways, you've always seen that. We're always no more than 5 years ahead. And as he said, I don't see anything in the next 10 years or 15 years that is gonna replace a landfill. I was on a plenary panel for the Environmental Business Council of Boston, and somebody asked me, you know, what, do you support landfilling? I said, no, we don't. We would just as soon do something else. And I was challenged, and I said, let me ask you a question. Which technology available right now or in test doesn't require a landfill? Which one? Somewhere down the line, you need a landfill. So to Ace's point, that capacity will always be used. I hope and wish someday we get to the point where we don't need landfills, but I'm as confident, pretty confident that we're gonna get to where we are. You never say never, but we're gonna get to where we need to be.
Marlene, did you have a question?
Just to orient the Capital Outlay Committee, ACE's projections start on page 16 if you're using the Capital Outlay book that's on the town website. So if you're using the website document, the PDF, the ISWIM projections start on page 16. And as Asa mentioned, those are the years where we have permits in hand and are under contract. So those are the ones where there's some degree of confidence. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan, did you say that you're only allowed to, 5-year permit? You have to re-permit every 5 years?
Yes,
Okay, so you can only,
we have to renew. Once we get a permit, if we permit an area that lasts us longer than 5 years, we have to renew. They're only good for like ATOs, authorizations to operate, and authorization. Well, it stops at the ATO. The ATO is sunshine or sunset at 5 years, and they have to go in for a renewal. We just renewed the transfer station last year.
all right, thank you. All set, sir?
If you are all set, I'm all set.
We have no questions here? School department?
Jordan Geis, Bourne Public Schools, Director of Business Services. We have 2 requests before you today. One is for the middle school roof project. This is a request that is contingent upon being accepted into the MSBA project when they vote at the end of October. And it will cover the design cost of the middle school roof. The language is pretty specific for this vote. It was vetted both through the MSBA and with Marlene's assistance through the town bond council as well. So that request is for $500,000.
Now, which roof project did you work on last year? The high school?
Did we work on a roof last year?
Okay, are the solar panels down?
So that was part of the getting ready for this project, yes. So the solar panels have been removed.
Okay,
That project is wrapping up as we speak. We had hopefully our last meeting today, just to tie up some loose ends, but all the solar panels are down.
okay. So how old is the current roof?
The building was opened in 2000, so it's 25 years.
Okay. So this is really the project that we've been talking about for the last 3 years or so?
I've been talking about it for a long time.
The last 3 years that I've been around. All right,
Yes.
okay. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same project.
Since I started in this position, people have been trying to get this underway. So now that the solar panel agreement has come and gone, we were able to get the solar off the roof. So this is the next step in the process.
And you're requesting $500,000 for the, and this is just for the design of the roof?
Yes, it's a healthy amount. It's really I typically don't ask 15% for, but that's what the MSBA, they said be very conservative and ask for more than you think you need, so.
Okay. So you said you had SBA approval already?
Nope, that's coming, they're gonna
In October.
vote. Yep, they've got 97 projects that they're doing what they call their due diligence on. We've already had 2 meetings with them, one virtually, one on site. So we're hopeful that we'll get accepted in.
Okay. So this request is subject to your approval on that?
Yes.
Understood.
It's on the MSBA's approval, not my approval.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. And the next project?
So the next project is the wastewater treatment plant. And we were looking for another set of eyes on the plant to give us a better path forward. The initial ask was for several $1 million to replace the RBCs and to put hoods over them. And That happened when we were working with Train, and they gave us a price, and then we didn't end up working with Train for a number of reasons on that project. So I had another consultant come in and do a study, sort of a feasibility study. Can we repair what's there? Do we actually have to replace the RBCs? So he produced a report that you should have in your file. And his findings were that we could get easily another 25 years out of those RBCs before they would have to be completely replaced. And that we could repair them in a much more cost-effective manner. So his opinion is that we should get them fixed. It's going to cost about $370,000. Add in those covers, which will help with some of the splashing and the humidity that happens because the water splashes out, raises the humidity in the building, and also to repair the effluent, the effluent part of it. Now the name's is the effluent recycle box as well at this time, because it just makes sense to do it at the same time you're repairing the RBCs. So this request is for $475,000, basically a 15% contingency, and also cover design bid and contract oversight.
And this replaces what?
This would replace the $2.1 million that was previously requested.
For what, for grinders?
No, that would replace the entire RBCs and new covers.
And RBC is what?
Sorry, the rotating biological contactors.
Yeah.
So it's basically two big, huge wheels that spin on a big steel shaft where it helps break down the waste entering the facility.
Now, is this only treating the facility, or does this also address potential future expansion in that neighborhood?
This keeps the plant running for 25 more years before we'd have to then probably replace the entire steel structure of those RBCs.
So you're anticipating 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
Marlene, do you know if the town is looking at, because that was one of the discussions that we had last year, was a potential expansion?
That is totally independent of this request. So this is the request for the existing asset of the school department.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right.
And Wayne, if I can just, for the committee's orientation, the evaluation report is on page 37 of your online book.
37, thank you. Okay. Tom, any questions?
I'm fine.
Carol, any questions?
No, I was going to ask, are they intending to put the solar panels back on the roof of the middle school or keep them off?
Keep them off.
MJ, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Wayne. This is interesting information on the wastewater treatment plant proposal. I think it makes a lot of sense to go with this lower cost option. And with Carol's question about the solar panels, they created a lot of problems on the roof, so putting them back on a roof that's gonna cost a lot of money, it's really, like, do we wanna do that? So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, sir. DNR. Yeah. First one you have is to replace a vehicle?
Yes, Hannah Lawrence, Bourne Natural Resources. So our first request is for a replacement vehicle for our Y52, which is our current animal control vehicle. So we would be looking to replace that and either trade in our cruiser. It's a 2020 with 127,000 miles on it. It was out of commission for at least a couple of months over the summer. So we would look to either turn that in or, give it back if the town needed it for another replacement vehicle, and take the existing animal control pickup, convert it back to a pickup, and keep that vehicle in the fleet, but trade in one of our other vehicles.
Okay. And what will you be purchasing for this?
Sure. So we'd be looking to purchase another Explorer. The existing animal control vehicle, the current setup is really not conducive for picking up any large dogs. It's essentially a box with compartments on the back, so it's really more ideal for wildlife where we do have a number of domestic animal calls. So we would be looking to purchase an SUV, which would have a canine compartment where we could transport dogs, but then also have the separate back compartment where we would be able to transport wildlife in crates should we get any calls for any of those different animals that we do tend to respond to.
Do you need any specific equipment to put in the back?
A lot of the equipment that we have would just be transferred over as far as, nets, gauntlet gloves for wildlife. It would just be, anything additional that might need to be replaced. But we have radios and, that type of equipment that we would essentially take from the vehicle we'd get rid of and move that over. So a lot of it would be reused.
Okay. So you're going to transfer in an old car, and the current truck you have will be stripped out and maybe used by some other town department?
So we'd like to maintain the same amount of vehicles. We would just shuffle them essentially. So our pickup that is used for 52 has a box on the back of it. It's really not ideal for a pickup. Can't really store anything in it. So we'd look to put a bed back on that vehicle and keep in our fleet and turn back in or, trade in or use for another town vehicle. I guess it's our patrol vehicle, the current Ford Explorer that we have in the DNR fleet.
Okay.
So 475,000 is for one vehicle?
No.
Oh, no,
Did I miss
80,000.
80,000.
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, sorry.
That would be an impressive vehicle.
That was my problem, but sorry.
I hate to ask this question. Do we run into any problem? That vehicle's okay for the green community?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. All right. Good to go. Okay. Carol, any question?
No?
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Or are you staying up there? DNR Shore and Harbor Committee?
Yes, so the next project that the DNR is looking to work with the Shore and Harbor Committee for is the money for our Monument Beach Marina design project. And we're looking for $710,000, and that was a CPA project.
So it's a CPA project, and what is this going to do?
Sure. So the goal of the project is to essentially a replacement of the existing Monument Beach Marina. So this money that we're asking for is for design, engineering, and permitting. So we would be looking to replace the existing building that's there, so the old snack bar that hasn't been used in many years, as well as the floats and piers that are existing right now. The marina is in disrepair at this point, so does need to be entirely replaced.
Okay, couple of questions. So do you have any estimate yet on what the total construction cost would be?
I don't believe at this time we have,
Just a little bit?
we're still kind of at the beginning stages of looking to get the project
Yeah.
going. We don't have anything as far as the
No
number right now.
estimates?
We won't know until we have engineering done. and
Okay.
Design.
Okay.
Then we'll have an estimate of what the rest of the project will actually cost.
And how old is the current marina?
The current marina, give you a little bit of history, that property is 40 acres of property.
Just if you could identify yourself. For the
Richard Libben, Chairman of Shore Harbor. That property originally was in the Isabel Stewart Gardner family. And back in the 40s, they couldn't support it anymore, so they turned it over to the Archdiocese. And then somewhere in the early 50s, it was turned over to the town. That marina, from what we can find, was actually built in the 50s. There has been very little, if any, work done on it, other than a storm of 2006, which basically wiped most of the marina out. The decking was done. There was, we spent $500,000 to repair the marina, and the labor that we got was free because it came from the sheriff's office when they did their community program for us. Just a side note, Monk's Park is named after one of the Gardner kids. So that's how we got Monk's Park, because she got married and her name is Olga Gardner Monks. So last year we asked for $30,000 to fix the wave attenuator. We gave that $30,000 back because the marina is in such bad shape that it's just putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Right.
Currently, the marina turns in money to the town. It is a profit-making facility for the town. Last year, it turned in $187,000 to the town. So over the past 5 years, it's, if we look at the past 5 years, it's been from 193, 199, 191, 201, and the average has been for the last 5 years, 187.
Okay.
The Shore and Harbor Committee is in the process right now of reviewing all of the marina rates that are currently being charged to the patrons and actually all the marinas. Our next meeting is Wednesday night. Our last meeting was last Wednesday night. And so far, the committee has agreed upon raising the rate from $115 a foot at Monument Beach to $185 a foot, which would turn in an additional $78,000 on the bottom line. So the marina would go from turning in approximately $187,000 to turning in $265, and that's just with the moorings. I mean, that's just with the marina, not with the moorings.
Right. So how would you anticipate funding the entire project?
Right now, currently, and I don't know if they'll be available, but currently there's a lot of grants that are available. So there was a building that was built in Marion that came from waterways funds. Hopefully those grants are still available, so most of that money, or a chunk of that money, we're hoping to come from waterways funds.
So the funds that you turn in, does that go into a operating account or to general fund?
Those are general fund receipts.
General fund receipts? So there's no way that the town can use any future money or increase to help fund the construction?
Well, it won't be, it's not an enterprise fund, so if the town chooses to move forward with this and borrowing is required, then it would be general fund borrowing.
General fund borrowing?
Yep. Or if it's free cash, it's general fund free cash. So it would not be, it's not an enterprise fund, so it would be essentially paid for like any other capital item from any of the other departments that are not ISWIM or sewer.
Okay. Is there any inspection required on marinas like that by the state?
Only by the fire marshal's office because of the fuel.
Okay, so they don't look at the construction of it at all?
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
We're only inspected on our fuel.
on the fuel? Okay. Tom?
No, I'm fine, no. I'm fine.
Carol?
Nope, sounds good.
I have to say, I've seen the marina. It's in bad shape. I mean, when you see wire bands holding the piers together, I wouldn't want to put my boat on it, I'll tell you that. MJ? I see your hand raised.
Thank you. This has been an item on the capital outlay for many years. The improvement of this marina is really important, and there are CPA funds available, both for the planning and for the construction. So this is what we are. This is who we are. This is a good project, and I individually, not representing the Board of Selectmen, totally support this project.
Thank you. Any other questions for him? Anything else you'd like to present?
Only one thing.
Yes, sir.
Back in 2000, we had an engineer take a look at this pier. At that time, there were 3 pilings that don't even go down to the substrate. That was 25 years ago. Dave Wigan was able to find the engineer that actually, the engineering firm that actually did the engineering project for us to determine whether it was safe or not. He found the engineer, and his first comment was, "You mean that is still standing?" So it's just a matter of time.
So you do have some engineering study, even though it's 25 years old?
Yeah, it's basically telling us that there needs to be a lot of work done. Back then, it was like $800,000 worth of work.
I don't even want to think what 25 years later the cost is going to be. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fire Chief?
Engineering's next.
I'm sorry. Oh, engineering?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Tim Lyden of the Engineering Department.
Yes, Tim.
So before you, we have a request for $95,000 for continued monitoring, environmental monitoring of the community building soil gas and groundwater. A few years ago, we've been monitoring this since we built the community building. We began that back in 2002. We acquired this property. It's the former Phil's Auto property. It was a gas station. There's still some contaminated soil there. A couple of years ago, we did a big effort to oxidize the gasoline and the soil gas. It was very successful, but we did not meet all of our thresholds that were required by DEP. We have groundwater standards that we have to meet, and we have one specific well that we are still triggering a high monitoring count. A lot of our other contamination thresholds have been remediated, and we're all set there. Specifically, IW8 is pretty much ground zero where that gas station was. It's high on this, specifically xylenes. So we have a licensed site professional, an LSP, that's been overseeing this project since 2022, when we were required by DEP to ramp up our monitoring efforts. So the request today is for about 3 years of monitoring, and it also has an option to explore other small remediation operations, such as like siphoning the groundwater out, treating it, and putting it back. We're going to look at other options, but for the most part, our numbers are trending in the right direction. We're just a little stuck on one of them. So this is a multi-year request to continue that effort. So I'll take any questions.
Will it be $95,000 per year?
No. So right now, this next year, it's going to cost us about $37,000.
Okay.
So we built in 3 years and a little bit of contingency, but there are some extra efforts on options that we can do depending on how our monitoring comes back, where our numbers are trending.
Okay. And this is required by DEP, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Tom?
I'm fine.
Carol?
No, it seems important to clean that up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lyden.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, the next we have Fire Department.
Good evening, everybody. Dave Palazzi, Fire Chief. I have 4 requests before you tonight. I know it seems like a lot. A lot of the stuff was unexpected. First one I have is replacement of one of our ambulances. We had put one on for replacement for capital at town meeting, and in the process found out that we're looking at 3 years before we're going to see that ambulance. So we wanted to get moving on the next one to kind of we're trying to get back to a 5-year, 6-year schedule, and this is still going to push us quite a ways back. So we wanted to kind of get ahead of that as best we could. So we'd be replacing one of our transporting ambulances.
So, Chief, if we can just back up for 1 second.
Yep.
Within the last couple of years, we bought 2 with opera funds.
Correct.
Have you got those yet?
Oh, yes, those were 2022. We're running both of those frontline.
Okay. So the one that you're asking for now is to anticipate a future delivery some 3 years down the road?
Correct. If I ordered it today,
Right.
it'd be 3 years down the road.
And what are you replacing? I mean,
So we are replacing a 2019 ambulance.
okay. And the funding for that is going to come where?
The ambulance reserve fund.
It comes out of the fund?
Yes, it does.
And we're still making a profit on that every year?
Yes, it has a very healthy balance. Even with using the funds for this ambulance, there will still be plenty left if we had to do another one.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So you've got about 5. You've got a couple of extras, correct?
So we have 5 ambulances licensed, stocked, ready to go right now. We have a 6th mechanical spare that we had held on to with the last ones that we replaced, and because we had a point where we were running 2 ambulances for the town because we had different mechanical problems. We have not needed to put that mechanical spare into service. I think it's something that we can get rid of, so we're trading that in on the last purchase that we had. So we're going to keep the 5 licensed, ready to go with no mechanical spare. That gives us a buffer.
Okay. Does the ambulance fund reimburse the general fund for the personnel assigned to it?
It does offset, and this was the conversation from last week at the Finance Committee.
Okay.
So it does offset right now $1.5 million for the personnel cost. At the fall town meeting, as we talked with the Finance Committee last week, we'll be asking for a budget adjustment to increase that by an additional $100,000. So at the fall town meeting, we're asking to offset the fire department's personnel costs with $1.6 million from ambulance reserve.
From the ambulance reserve?
Correct.
Okay, excellent.
And Erica has done an analysis of that fund for both funding this capital request and adjusting the operating budget.
Okay.
And we do feel that revenues can support both of these.
Okay, excellent. Now, Chief, is this ambulance on your 5-year plan?
Yes.
Is that the right time for it to come up?
We were looking for it I was going to come before town meeting for fiscal '27, but because of the extended build, we moved it up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, next item? I'm sorry, any questions? Tom?
No.
Carol?
No.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is replacement of our exhaust systems at stations 1 and 3, Buzzards Bay and Sagamore. Again, this was something that was not on my capital plan. This was not anticipated. This came about after a number of issues we've been having with the existing systems. And in the process of evaluating what we're going to put in the new station, we found a diesel exhaust system that's going to work better for what we need. So we wanted to put that in, we're planning for that in the new station, and for $144,000, we can get rid of this existing systems that we have that are increased maintenance costs, increased failure of the system, and replace them with this new system and have the same system in all 3 stations.
Okay. What's the life expectancy of an exhaust system like that?
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I can tell you the existing one at Station 1 is outlived me. Was here before I got here, so it's at least 26 years old. And the one in Sagamore is approaching 20 years. And we're starting to see a lot of issues with them, more and more costly issues.
Okay.
The other issue we run into in Buzzards Bay is because of the age of the station, our trucks are getting larger and the station isn't. And the existing system runs right down the apparatus bay and is prone to getting hit, damaged, things like that. And it's even with spotters, even with people backing up cautiously, it's just so tight, and this is going to alleviate a big chunk of that.
Okay. What type of breakdowns were you having in them? In the exhaust fans, or?
No, well, they had a complete replacement of the controls in the one in Sagamore a few years back, but the hoses, right now the existing system use hoses, and they're not releasing, they're not staying attached right. So we have a lot of issues where they're pulling off and not releasing as designed.
Okay.
So part of that is we had to do a complete retrofit to the ambulances at one point because of the new efficient vehicles. They aren't triggering the system to kick on and evacuate the exhaust. And the system we're looking at will replace that issue.
Okay. Forestry vehicle?
Forestry vehicle, so this was originally on my plan for last fiscal year, switched it out because I'd applied for a grant and we used the other forestry vehicle. I have an AFG FEMA Assistance to Firefighters grant out for this and the next project. We don't know the status of the grants yet, but I did get a contact from FEMA at one point when they were reviewing the grant, and at least one of the two grants is favorable. It's not a guarantee that we're going to get it, but I wanted to get these on capital for the fall, just in case that we do get an award. What we're looking to replace is we have a brand new to us in 2021, 1993 military Humvee. It's a great vehicle, but it's a 1993 Humvee, and it was not built as a fire truck, and we're using it as a fire truck. And it's been, ever since we got it, we've used it, but it's out of service now more than it was in service. It was free to us at the time. The skid unit that was in it was free to us at the time. We use it when we can. It's great. It gets us around, but it's a 1993 Humvee. So
Right.
we're hoping that this grant funding will go through and provide us with a Ford F-150 forestry truck that'll work like that and be much more reliable.
Okay. So this vehicle was on your plan, right?
Yes, yes.
And there's a potential for grant funding to reimburse it?
Yep, and if the grant is not successful, we will pull it. But it's on for next year in capital. So I'm hoping for, and I would reapply for a grant next year again as well if AFG is still in existence.
Okay. And the SCBA's and the RIT packs?
That's another one that we have a grant out for that as well. Our SCBA, these are the harnesses that we wear on our backs for all fire calls, alarms, fires, everything like that. The existing packs that we have are coming up on 15 years old. They're still usable, but they're no longer NFPA compliant. They're not unsafe, but after 2 cycles, they consider them to be obsolete. They still work, we work with them. The bottles themselves are going to expire at their 15th year, which is coming up in fiscal 27. So regardless of this grant or anything else, those bottles we will no longer be able to use. This has been on our plan for a while. We've been trying to get the most life out of them, but we're starting to see more and more of those failing now too, and more needed repairs. With this grant, if it's successful, we'll be able to replace all these. If it's not, I will be back again next year and we will need to replace all these for the following. And it is on the plan. It's been on for a few years. And again, like the other, I will also apply for grant funding if that's the case.
Okay. So so these two are potential grants, the vehicle and the.
Correct.
The SCBA's. The ambulance is coming from the ambulance fund, and the exhaust system is coming from where?
Free cash.
Free cash? Okay.
Nope, it's good.
Carol?
No, sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you. Town Administrator's Office? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, as you know, we came before you last winter with a request to remove and replace the roof at the police station. It went to town meeting, and although it did get a majority vote, because it's borrowing, it requires a 2/3 supermajority, which it did not reach the vote quanta, so did not pass town meeting. We are recommending that the town bring this article back to the fall town meeting, and we ask the body to debate and discuss it again and reconsider it at this town meeting for funding. I'm going to go through a quick recap.
Good.
Just to kind of refresh everyone's memory on the substance of the problem. Before I do that, though, the new information since we met last December, I believe, is the town has finalized and filed suit against the contractor and the architect. So we're in the very early process of discovery for that, but the lawsuit is filed and is in play.
Right.
Clearly, our intention is to recover the full amount of damages through the litigation. However, we are asking again for the town to consider paying for this and doing this work up front before the litigation is settled. And the reason to do that is because it is an operating building that is in use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are experiencing some significant negative impacts due to these construction deficiencies. So I can talk in kind of limited terms about the litigation, but you know, depending on the question, I may or may not be able to give you great detail, but it is in process and moving forward. Secondly, I think after the failed vote in May, I would like to ask the capital outlay, and I'll ask the finance committee also later tonight, to, if you are so inclined, and if you support this request, to make more of a public statement to the town
Absolutely.
meeting body.
Absolutely.
The chief and I are obviously available to answer factual questions, but it's not necessarily our role to advocate and to tell town meeting how to vote. That's why we have committees. So if at the end you do support this article, I would like to work closely with you in advance of town meeting to kind of prepare you to make some comments.
Okay.
If that's, but we can get to that if you decide to support it. So let me recap kind of where we are and how unfortunately we got here. So the roof assembly for the police station was constructed roughly between April and July of 2019. The shingles were installed in June and July of 2019. Okay? The building was finished, the police department moved in and started operating. In February of 2024, it was actually a very cold, frosty morning, but not snowy. But we had yeah?
Could I ask a quick question? Are you gonna have a bullet list of this for us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
yes. I will help you put together your comments, absolutely. So it was an early morning, it was with a heavy frost, and it was very sunny, but we didn't have any snow cover. So we had people at the police station in the back parking lot who just happened, luckily, to look up, and they saw something weird happening with the roof. And last time I showed you the pictures, and they're also in the report that's in your capital book. So if you've looked at that report this time around, or you remember, the edges of essentially a 4x8 sheet were curling up, and our shingles were buckling. And they captured some photographs and sent them over. And what's interesting is we went back later and you can't see it. So this is a very dynamic event that is happening. So depending on the weather
Conditions.
depending on the weather conditions, the humidity, the temperatures, it may or may not be showing visibly projecting through the shingles. But we engaged an envelope specialist, Gale Associates, to do a very in-depth investigation to try to help us understand what is going on here. And they did a whole series of site visits. We did a whole series of test cuts where we cut through the entire roof assembly to analyze all of the materials and construction methods. And we took photographs at regular time, and they installed cameras to watch the roof move over time. And because we happened to see it in 2024, we were able to protect the town's interest with filing the lawsuit within the statute of repose. So the town has 6 years from substantial completion to essentially put the contractor on notice for any defects in the construction. So we were within that 6-year period, which was frankly very lucky for us, because it was just by chance that we even noticed a problem. So the asphalt roof is experiencing this widespread buckling that I've described, and it has the potential to reduce the overall life of the roof. And specifically, what we found were numerous construction defects, including non-building code compliant thermal resistance. So, and thermal resistance is your R value. So if you're thinking of your R value of your insulation, that's what I'm talking about there. There was a single layer of insulation installed instead of a double layer per the plans. There's a lack of a continuous thermal barrier, so we have breaks in our thermal barrier. There's a lack of a dedicated continuous vapor barrier. So the vapor barrier is also not allowing the building to breathe correctly. There's a lack of providing ventilation. So when we did the test cuts up near the ridge, it was clear that as the contractor built the roof up to the ridge, the plans called for cutting out the material along the ridge so it would vent out. And that cut was not made, so the material was butted up against each other, and there's no opening at the ridge to allow that ventilation. There's a lack of a continuous air barrier, especially where the roof and wall assemblies meet. So that's a key point in construction like this building. This building, the attic is not intended to be ventilated. The attic is intended to be conditioned. So all of the ventilation happens on the outside of the roof decking. So the attic is intended to be just like the rest of the building space within the building envelope for air, water, vapor, and thermal barriers. And what happens when this this air barrier at the wall and roof assembly is not constructed correctly, the air is not getting underneath correctly. It's not getting underneath the insulated panels. So the air is supposed to run underneath the insulated panels, but above the roof decking, flow under the roof assembly and out the ridge. And it's not able to get out the top, and it's not able to get in the bottom. We also have a water-damaged plywood deck in certain locations. We have deficient construction of the flue stacks and flashing, and we have unsealed and improperly flashed antenna penetrations. So the flue stacks and the antenna penetrations are the places we have active leaks, and we're able to generally maintain those. Like we're able to mitigate those generally. So now that we are aware that where the leaks are coming in, we can catch them and not allow widespread rain damage. Now, the roof assembly itself, the problem is that the building is not able to release the condensation from within. So we have, especially in the summertime, we have a building that the envelope is not properly allowing the moisture out. So it is causing essentially collateral damage on the HVAC system. So that will be a separate problem down the road, but until we get the envelope fixed, until we get the roof fixed with the vapor barriers correct and the airflow correct, it doesn't make sense to even address the HVAC yet. So we have it is definitely a complex, it is a complex problem. And where we are right now is we have a conceptual design for a replacement of either another asphalt roof or a non-vented system, like a standing seam metal roof system. So we have a concept for both of those options for replacement, and we have early cost estimates for both of those. The next steps are, if the town votes to move forward with the project, the town would need to establish a building committee, and the decision would need to be made on, are we going forward with replacing another asphalt roof, or do we need to go forward with replacing this with a non-vented system, like a standing seam metal roof? And there's quite a bit of discussion to be had with that, because in addition to the construction defects, Gail also did find that the design is defective, and the design does not provide adequate ventilation for the majority of the roof areas. So the way the roof is constructed with the valleys in the roof create different areas, and each of those areas have to be properly vented, and the majority of them within the design, even if construction was perfect, which it's not, but even if it was constructed perfectly, the design would not be moving enough air through it. So there's not enough eave length to get enough air into the system. So there's a discussion that we need to have about if the town does decide to go forward with another asphalt roof, we would have to then install mechanical ventilation. So there's ways to do it, but it's more complicated, and there's ongoing maintenance where we would have to force air through. So the roof is not designed yet. This is a complex issue. There are a lot of questions that need to be worked out in design, but we would need to move forward with if we're going to move forward with design, we would need the funds first. I know that there are a lot of questions about how this would be done, and I can't answer any of those right now. It is certainly not typical and not recommended to tear off a roof system on a finished building. We're not just stripping
Correct.
the shingles and re-roofing it. We are taking the entire roof system off. So we're taking it all the way down essentially to the top of the rafters. That's not typically what you do when you have a finished building underneath that. I can't answer any of the questions about how this will impact operations. We don't know yet if we'll have to move out during this or not. Those are all things that have to kind of be worked out with the guidance of professionals through the design process. But that's essentially where this project remains.
Tom, any questions?
Do you need us to vote on anything tonight?
Well, it would be helpful if you could vote on all of these things tonight.
Right. Yep. Carol, do you have any
Yeah,
questions?
I would definitely approve addressing this problem in the best way possible. Whether that would be you mentioned, I forget what kind of roof, metal roof or whatever.
Yep.
But we definitely need to address it before the situation gets ridiculously out of hand and costs even more money. So I would definitely be in favor of backing this.
And I guess, I'm sorry, I neglected to say, I am asking for the same amount of money as was on the warrant in May. So it's $2.5 million of borrowing.
2.5.
Yes. And that is because we are so early and we don't have a design yet. I'm building in plenty of unknowns in there. So that's a very conservative estimate.
Okay, I mean, absolutely. I mean, from my perspective, I would totally support it. I was disappointed that it didn't pass at town meeting. And I was waiting for more information to come up that I think we had a better understanding than the public did at the time because we knew some of the background. It just wasn't our place then to step forward when other people had information. So I hope that our committee and the finance committee will come out strongly to support this and explain to the public the things that you've talked about tonight. Because this is really a very critical thing that needs to be done in order, from a financial standpoint, to prevent future damage going down the road, and it's only going to be more expensive if we don't do it. So, okay, anything else on this one? Do you guys want to wait around? Oh, Chief, I didn't see you come in, sorry. Do you want to wait around till we vote? Or it'll be like just a couple minutes. Okay, I'm just going to go down the agenda. We sent the minutes from the May 17th, 25 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Tom, motion to approve. Carol, do you want to second that, or?
Yep, I'll second that. I don't know if I can vote since I may not have been at that meeting, but I definitely.
I'll second it. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with that one, because that's the easy one.
The minutes?
The minutes.
Great.
Yeah, let's start with that. That's just easy. A roll call vote?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Carol?
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, let's go back to the first item from ISWIM, the office maintenance building construction at $23.9 million. And I know that you're going to get us some information just so we can take a look at that 5, 10, 20-year projection on funding and the fact that you've got almost that money in your reserve account now. Let's see. Do I have a motion?
Can I move that, can I do that since I'm on that committee?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
move to approve.
Okay. Tom, motion?
We should probably say move to recommend approval.
Recommend,
Should that say-
recommend. Okay. Carol, do you want to second these motions, or do you want me to just do it, because I'm right here?
Yep, no, I can second.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so I'll put you down for a second. Okay, so I'll take, we have to do these one at a time.
Yes,
Right.
please.
Okay. So we'll take a roll call vote on the office maintenance building construction. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, on the transfer station design, 1.134 million. Is that accurate? 1.134?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Move to recommend approval.
Tom recommends.
I'll second.
Carol, second. Roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. School department. Middle school wastewater treatment plant, 475,000. Motion?
Move to recommend approval.
Tom?
And I'll second.
Carol, second. Roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, DNR. $80,000. I forgot which one that was.
For the vehicle?
Which vehicle?
Y52? Or,
Animal control?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Motion?
I
Move
move
to,
to approve it.
second.
Okay, so Carol, motion. Tom, second. Roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Then we have the CPA project for Monument Beach Marina Design, $710,000, and that is a CPA grant, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Motion, Tom?
Move to recommend approval.
And I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Wayne?
Yes.
Did we skip the middle school roof?
We may have.
I think maybe.
Oh, was that intentional? I don't know.
I just don't want to forget it.
Yeah, no, I was writing. I was writing on the piece of paper, I went past it.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Okay, we did the treatment plant. And then the middle school roof design, $500,000. Motion,
I move to approve that.
Second.
motion to recommend.
A motion to recommend.
Roll call vote. Carol?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. So now we are back down to engineering, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. The community building soil cleanup, Motion?
I move to recommend that.
Carol? Recommend?
Second.
Tom, second. Roll call vote. Carol?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. Fire Department. Ambulance, $475,000. Motion?
I'll move to recommend that.
Second.
Roll call vote. Carol?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Wayne is a yes. The exhaust to retrofit stations 1 and 3 for $114,000.
Move to recommend.
And I'll second.
Roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
I'm a yes. The forestry vehicle replacement, and this is dependent on a grant for $35,000.
Move to
I'll move
recommend.
to recommend that.
Second.
Carol, recommend. Tom, second. Roll call vote. Carol?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. For the SCBA and the RIT packs, Rapid Intervention Teams, that is grant dependent. Motion or recommendation?
Move to recommend.
Tom?
And I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
I'm a yes. School administrator, wait a minute, yes, school administrator's office.
Town Administrator's Office.
I'm trying to give the school department money now. Town administrator's office, for the police station roof design construction, $2.5 million.
Move to recommend.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Okay. Do we need another meeting before town meeting?
I don't believe so.
There's no other article come before us?
Nope.
Was the cemetery?
That is not a town-owned, that's a CPA article, but it's not capital because it's not town-owned property.
Okay.
So you'll see that, the Finance Committee will see that as a
Right.
CPA article.
Okay.
But it does not-
Not us, because we only do town projects.
Only town assets, correct.
Okay. Good. Next meeting dates. Any public or committee comments? Is the 5-year capital plan on the website?
It is, or it, you know what, let me say, it was before Maytown meeting, and I'm sure it is on there somewhere, yes. But let me see if I can find where it got moved to. Once town meeting's over, we move it out of kind of the main page.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we have the latest copy.
The latest copy was from the May, actually, if you have your voter handbook from
Right.
May,
Yes.
it's in that appendix.
Okay.
B, I think, or C, B. I don't know. It's in one of the appendices from your voter handbook from the May 20th town meeting.
Great.
If you need another copy, shoot me an email, okay?
Okay, I can get that. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Hold on one second. And that was a motion by Tom, second by Carol. And a roll call vote. Tom?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And I am a yes also. I'm sorry for the two people who just came in. The meeting is over.